All right. Let me send out the Discord. Why do I have a... Okay. I have a notification. My phone is notifying me that I am live. Need to pull up the bot. Oh, look at that. I'm live. That's crazy. Who would have thought? Okay. Let me send out the notifications. Okay. What is this? Oh, snap. That's kind of cool. Yo, what's up, Sigenderman? Only sleep deprivation. Are you okay? I just saw RGC's message in this thread here in Discord. Wait, is RGC considering making another YouTube channel? Don't worry, this is more important. Glad you got your priorities straight. Is 284th, right? I thought it was kind of funny because it was a while ago that I think he made he made a Will You Snail dedicated channel, and then somebody had made a comment like, "Oh, there goes RGC making another YouTube channel," and I was like, "Oh, I guess he makes quite a few of them." And since then, I think he's made like 2 or 3. I mean, but hey, he's seems like he's willing to post updates about the kind of stuff that I'm doing on stream, so that'd be cool. Free promo. Where did you read about this new channel? Can I like... I don't know. So it's in the main Will You Snail Discord. It's a thread under the Snail Media channel. It's called Daily Dose of Will You Snail. But yeah, it doesn't look like an exclusive thread, so I mean you should have access to it. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Call it Daily Dose of Snail so it could be DDoS. Oh no. Okay, so dude, there's so many different places. So there used to be like 3 or 4 different Discord channels that I would post notifications to whenever I went live, and I stopped posting to those locations. But now I have basically an entirely different set of Discord channels that I can post too now. So let me get rid of that. I just finished watching the Clue for North Americans movie 1980s, and it was quite fun. Recommended. Is that like the board game Clue? Cluedo. Murder mystery game. Yeah. Okay. The board game, yes. All right. Cool. I feel like I heard about the movie, but that was a while ago, wasn't it? Is it a new movie? Okay, that's probably the last notification I needed to send out. Hopefully. 1985? That's a lot older than I thought it was. Hang on. I thought it was like somewhat recent, like within the last 10 years. Am I thinking of something else? Yeah, it looks like it's 1985. Huh. That's wild. I'd have to be thinking of something else, because I could have sworn it was recent. Okay. Switch over here. So, I updated, you might be able to see, it's kind of small, but I updated Undertale Mod Tool. So now, we get this amazing feature where I can zoom in. Yay, people can actually see the code. Woohoo. It's cool. But yeah. Yo. We can see what's going on. So, wow. I actually didn't read these messages that got left in the Discord. So let me the numbers should probably prioritize readability. I agree with that. That's why I thought a static RGB would be best. White could also work since the sliders already have that color rep. Yeah, so like the kind of philosophy that I have tended to do. Yo, what's up, Glitch? Zoom out until the font is 1 pixel tall. Is that a thing? Oh, okay. You can zoom out. That's the maximum zoom out. But that's only because... Oh, wait, no, there is code above it. Okay, I was going to say that it almost looked like that was all the code, but... Okay, I guess they just have a maximum amount of zoom that you can do. Cringe. But yeah. Okay. What was I doing? Only 4 pixels? Yeah. Okay, so the way that these sliders work right now is that they will progressively become more what I think of as being empty, which is white. And then at the maximum, they're like the full whatever color, right? Red, green, blue. And yeah, this green is kind of annoying because this is where is it? Here. I'm literally using the built-in green color, and it's not actually like pure green. It's like it's got a little bit of blue in it. I don't actually know what the values are, but it's clearly darker than just pure green. Anyway, not my fault. Do lime? Ooh, good call. That sounds right. There we go. Okay. I didn't think about it. I was just like, oh yeah, sure, green would probably be the right answer. Game Maker and making sense are not things that go well together. But yeah, so this represents white, right? All three of them being all the way over here. So I've got the name selected, and you can see like the actual name that's displayed here gets affected by this. So you can see it's like light blue, now it's completely blue. Make it purple, whatever, right? It updates in the UI. But yeah, so like when all the sliders are pure white, the resulting color is pure black. Because in my mind, it's like this is like a measure of how much of the red is in the resulting color, where this is no red and this is all red. To me, that makes sense. If that's confusing for other people, then I might change that. I am very much open to doing that. But yeah, so like I can have this sort of gradient be applied to like the label and the number. But I agree with you guys. I think that the number should be as readable as possible, which means probably keeping it a static color. But the sort of theme, quote unquote, that I've been going with is that black is used for like categories, I guess, and then white is used for like individual values. But I don't know, I feel like on this kind of a background, black is slightly more readable. So I might just make the numbers black. I just think the text should be white. You think white? I'm not opposed to white because it does fit the theme. I just think if we want to like maximize readability, you know. Because the other thing is we could do this kind of shadow thing that I'm doing with the player's name. So we could still make it like, you know, red, green, blue, but also have this shadow to make it slightly easier to see, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what that looks like. I'm not entirely convinced that it would actually look better. Oh, whoops. Now I have to remember where I put everything. This is... Yeah, so let's do this draw set color to black, and then we'll move it like 512. See what that looks like. Give text shadow, fix all bugs. Yes. Okay, so maybe that's a little bit too far away. Let's make it a little bit closer. It's like 203, 910. Let's see what that looks like. Yo, what's up, literate? Bald stone. No! Don't bald me. How could you? Okay, what do you think about that? Does that look better? Or do you think we should make the shadow even closer to what it is right now? Looks good. Would it work on blue though? Yeah, that's a good point. Blue is this guy. Put it up here. Draw set color. Black. And we said what, 203. 3 here. Something like that. Is it just me, or is red a bit bright? Yeah, it doesn't work so much on blue because blue is so dark. I mean, this is full red. This is like pure red. What if I make the blue shadow white? Is that crazy? Let's also do the shadow for red. Should be this one. Set color black. 203, 95. Okay. Green is perfectly readable. Blue is good. I mean, it's slightly more readable, but that does not look good. I don't know about that one. Yeah, red and green look pretty good. Blue does not look good with the shadow, I feel like. It was fine? Cyan shadow? What for blue? Never speak again. I don't know. Let's try it. Cyan. Oh, it's called aqua. It's not cyan. It's aqua. It's not. It definitely sticks out. I feel like this is better than black. What other colors are like readily available? Yeah, it's aqua for some reason. Why is... Okay, teal is like unusually dark, I feel like. I feel like aqua is my favorite currently. Not super convinced though. It's a tricky balance with blue. Yeah. Seems like it. I mean, because we could just straight up not have a shadow for blue. I mean, given that it's already pretty dark on a gray background, like, we could probably get away with just not having a shadow. Like, it would stick out, but I mean, this obviously sticks out too, so. White shadowless text seems easier. Like for all of them, you're saying? Or just blue? All? It would definitely be the easiest. Alright, let's get rid of the shadows. Sig might have been right. Screenshot it. We caught him! Glitch admitted it. Yeah, it's these, I think. So you gotta hang that on your wall now. Yeah, so like the sliders... Let's move the sliders all the way to the bottom here. It's like this. This one. And then that. So there are the sliders. And then here we just want white. We don't care about assigning the other ones. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Thank you for the hydrate. It's boring, but it works. Indeed it does. I just thought it was a cool idea when I thought of the gradient thing for like moving the slider. I was like, ooh, I could make like these or like this text also change or be blue and green and red or whatever. But turns out what's fun actually is not that practical. Why do we have to live in this world, man? Why can't the fun things be cool? Or be useful, I guess. But yeah. Wait, let me... I can turn my snail into a green screen. Hang on. Bam. Now you can edit whatever you want onto Shelly. Do you know what else is boring me? Bit of a self-roast. This one, that. You know what? Okay, it's hard to commentate over moving code around. It's like it's kind of hard to describe what I'm doing. I'm just moving lines of code. You know, how do I update my old version of the mod? Let me. I can post a link here. It's also pinned in the Discord if you want. Bam. The color picker stuff is not in it. I forget what I did in the latest version actually. Oh right, it's like the new connection string stuff. Was that the version where I added more characters to the name? Like you can do like weird characters from different languages. I'll wait for the color picker update. I mean it's basically almost done. Hats coming soon. I don't remember how many people were here, but this is a long name. It'll actually display like the full name in this view here. I like quote your iconic lines. It's not all 100% jokes with quotes, only 95%. Oh, I like to quote iconic. Glitch, why did you pin this? The ellipsis is 3 dots, no more. Okay, but what if I pause for longer than 3 dots? Classic Slay the Spire. But yeah, like I was saying in the Discord, so like I'm drawing a snail here as like a preview, right? And then I'm also there are like two different places where I'm drawing snails, where I'm drawing like other racers. One is in like the actual view here, so like just in the game, and then the other is in the spectator view, right? And in each one of those instances, I've literally just copy and pasted the code for drawing the snails. So if I were to, refactor that and just make one function that I could just call that function and then it'll draw a snail wherever I want. Oh, that's interesting. The mouse goes behind this little AO6 thing. Does that make sense? Maybe it makes sense. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, I want to refactor that at some point. That'll probably be something that I do off stream though, because I don't know. Maybe it's not boring, but it kind of feels like it would be. I killed him. Lies. Wasn't the record up to like 30 something before? I'm pretty sure I lost the data for the previous feed record. And that's why it's like so low right now. When you're done with this, what are you planning to do? Done. What is this word that you speak? Done. With a project? Is that possible? Just for reference, this is my to-do list right now. This is just like basic cleanup, but at some point it would be cool to have a countdown. Ooh, de-jittering we might do today. But also save settings would be cool. We might do that actually. Select multiple racers in spectator view. So this is something that I think would be pretty cool. So in the spectator view, in the bottom left, it says tab to cycle players. So if I hit tab while there are other players in my lobby, it'll like select them. And then whenever they enter one of these levels, it'll like track onto that player. And then if you hit tab 4 times, it'll like cycle through everybody in the lobby. What I think would be cool is to have like a little button next to the player's name up at the top here. And if you click on it, then it will add that player to a list of selected players. And if you only have one person on that list, then it'll behave exactly the same as it does now. But if you select multiple people, it will automatically like zoom out and track both players and make sure that both players are within view. And then you would be able to select however many players you want. Now, obviously, if 2 players are like super far away, then you might not be able to really see both of them. But, I feel like it'd be cool. Save settings first might be a good idea. Yeah, for sure. Because that is one of the annoying parts about testing this, is that like whenever I'm testing, making connections, I always have to re-enter the connection string every single time. Or when I'm messing with colors, I have to like, to manually put in the colors and edit a name and stuff like that. So it's just a cool feature in general, and it helps a lot with testing. So no battle pass. No battle pass. I'm sorry. That's not. Don't do this again. Mirhan always, not always, but they keep pressuring me to put in more gun sound effects. You know, like the gunshot sound effect that plays when Amelia dies? He keeps encouraging me to like make every sound effect in the game that. And just like the most bizarre suggestions all surrounding either the gun sound effect or snake or Squid saying "you suffer," that voice line. Please don't turn the battle pass into one of those. I don't want to have another one of these nonsense suggestions. Okay, what do we think? I keep opening and closing this over and over again. But what do we think about the menu here? Let me actually go into full screen, so maybe it's a little bit easier to see here. What do we think? I feel like I kind of, at some point, I want to move this snail over slightly so that it's like in the middle of this empty area instead of like weirdly in this corner. But that'll probably happen when I do that refactor of drawing snails. Races with Stone after this is finished would be cool. Like as an event thing. Because, oops, I forgot that while I'm in full screen, I can't click out of the window. Yeah, what do you mean, Races with Stone? Imagine an MLG edit, but with the Amelia Room Mass effects. Kind of like the one in Henry Stigman, yeah. Yeah, chat, you want to watch me 360 no-scope Amelia? The most epic gamer move you'd ever see. What am I saying, man? It's not Saturday, we can't race, that's the rules. I swear the combined IQ in this stream is 2. Hey, there are at least 3 people here. Okay? But so the IQ at least has to be like 3. Probably. I don't know. What do we think? Is this good enough? Can we say this is done? What do you think? Wait, let me make the snail my signature color here. I can finally be the orange I've always wanted to be. Perfect. You know what? Let's make the outline. Should I be yellow or red? I'll be just pure red. There we go. Did I get all of them right? I think I did. Yeah. There we go. My perfect snail. My beauty. See, you know, when I first started this whole project, right? And I was complaining about the fact that GameMaker doesn't have a built-in like actual orange, like this. This is the orange that I'm referring. Like this is orange, you know? Like when you look at this, you're like, yeah, that's orange. Maybe not the outline. Maybe the outline's a little bit too red, but you're like, yeah, you know, this is orange for sure. Like that's definitely an orange. And then Hang on. And then there's this. And then there's this. Where'd it go? How is this orange? This orange? This orange? How? This is tan. This is like... This is not orange. This is not the orange that I requested. Where is orange? This is orange. Anyway, finally, I have orange. Loki, I'd want to see Stone play some game again. What game should I play? I don't even remember what's on my list. Like Geometry Dash? No. I think I'm good on Geometry Dash, actually. I think I'm all set. A story game? I feel like at one point I was interested in God of War, but I feel like there's so many games to that series. Burp, bless you. It's 9003 BC. Stonepot is here. I'm stressing over the name of a variable. It could be an issue, but we're going to pretend it will not. Set green to 127 for maximum orangeness. So 105 is like the orange hue of my brand. Is full red and then 105 on green. There's 127. 127 is a little bit lighter. It's like almost indistinguishable. Hashtag we love Game Maker. Yeah, no. No, I mean, it's like... I used to really not like Game Maker. Because I felt like the developer experience was, like, terrible. And it still kind of is. but now that I've been working on this mod, it's like, okay, well, I kind of understand the decisions that were made for, like, Game Maker language. It kind of makes sense now. That's more yellow-orange, is it? I feel like it's just orange. Like, this is just orange to me. This to me would be like a yellow-orange, right? I mean, I would probably say that's like yellow. So maybe somewhere down here. Stone. I know you've played a bit of Cyberpunk, huh? I think I played like a half an hour's worth or something along those lines. But that was years ago. Because I think my brother had it, and he let me play on his console for a bit. Barely touched GD. I don't like the upside down gameplay. I do not find it enjoyable. And I've played, as far as I can tell, every single campaign level that does not have an upside down section. Know the orange in Game Maker? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this monstrosity. This is not orange, bro. You gotta... You need to see your eye doctor again. That's not orange. I don't know who decided to make that orange, but you got some problems. Hate to be the one to tell you. What story games do I know that aren't capable of shifting your worldview via traumatization? Not many. I mean, I'm down to be traumatized. What kind of games you got? There's more to GD than that. Yeah, but like, I gotta get through the upside down gameplay, you know? And I don't really want to do that. DDLC? What's DDLC? Let me actually put this over here so we can actually like commit this. Oh, that's right. Doki Doki Literature Club, right? I have not played that myself, but I feel like I've seen enough other people play it that it's probably not gonna be the experience you would want me to have. What was that other like psychological horror anime thing? My Side, I think it was. I saw that a bit. All right, I saw other people play that a bit. Did I make any changes over here? I did not. This was all like hitbox stuff. Yeah, My Side. I know what you're talking about. Okay, cool. Yeah, so kind of a funny story. I don't know that it's funny, but maybe it's interesting. I don't know if this person has like popped into chat at all before, but somebody was chatting with me in the Will You Snail Discord. Their name is just Name. And they were talking about optimizing the build process of the mod. Well, so I think first things first, what did they recommend? What is it called? GMSL or something like that? What was the acronym? GMSL. Yeah. Which, as far as I understand, is like basically exactly what I'm doing right now. Except instead of me building the .win file and then creating a patch file from that, it like the people using the mod would have to build the thing, right? So it kind of almost exact same process, except I'm pretty sure the people using the mod would have to install Undertale Mod Tool so that they can apply the changes to their version of the game. And the benefit of that would be that you can have like multiple mods, right? Because like the way that this mod works is that I have the original .win file. I then like copy that, make all of the changes that I need to it, export that so that it has all the changes, and then I use xdelta to compare the two files. And then I give you the difference between the two files. That's what the xdelta file is for. Obviously, when I do that, because when I check the difference between these two files, I'm not accounting for any other mod. This mod is not compatible with anything else. What is going on? And that is like an explicit design decision that I made fairly early on. Because making a mod in general, you kind of have to make a bunch of assumptions about how the game operates. Um, Especially when you want to take into consideration other people potentially making mods and like making mods that are compatible with each other. Um, there are a lot of assumptions about the way that the game operates that are not safe assumptions to make when you consider that other people could potentially modify the code, right? I didn't want to have to worry about that. So again, very early on when I started this project, I was like, I'm just going to assume that this is not going to be compatible with other mods. I'm not even going to try and make it compatible with other mods. I'm just going to go with this, right? So there are already like half a dozen, not half a dozen, like several dozen assumptions that I make about how the game works that would completely break if I took into account other mods. So, and that's, from what I understand, that's like the main benefit of GMSL. It adds a layer of complexity onto the project. It moves the burden of building the project onto the person installing the mod. And the benefit is that you can have multiple mods working all together. Obviously, if I make a mod that I don't intend to be compatible with other mods, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I think, to use GMSL. So I decided not to do that. It was interesting though. I didn't. I hadn't really considered doing something like that. I mean, I did slightly, like when I was, when I was considering whether or not to make it compatible with other mods, but no, it was interesting. And then they said something about optimizing the build process, which I thought was interesting. And I was like, okay, I don't doubt that I missed something, but I'm kind of curious what they did. And then they were like, yeah, they multi-threaded the build. It's like part of what makes it relatively slow, or in the past it made it relatively slow, is I'm looping through a bunch of sprite files, right? And I'm importing them one by one. And that was taking a long time. And so they multi-threaded this part of it. Which is okay. Like it's a trade-off, right? You're trading CPU for speed, right? It would build a lot faster, but it would also spike my CPU to 100%, which I was like, okay, maybe sometimes that's a trade-off I'm willing to make, but I don't necessarily know that I would consider that like an overall optimization, like an optimization for speed for sure. But I was like, okay, we can add that, and then maybe we'll make it optional later. But that whole thing, like trying to figure out whether or not I thought it was worth it to go the route of multi-threading, I ended up finding what was causing everything to be so slow in the first place, which was actually, let me pull up the old version because I want to show this. So what did you just do with my window? Okay, sure. Yeah, so here. So this is the change that they made. They use this parallel for each. Makes it multi-threading. Speed. But they didn't change this code. This is what I had. So What it does first is it reads blue green red alpha image from file, right? So it reads the content of the file, and then it like transforms it into a GM image, and then it converts that into a PNG. And then that's the actual data that like gets sent out. Magic. Yeah, exactly. So I was basically reading the file, transforming the file, and then transforming it again. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on under the scene or like behind the scenes within these functions, but I have to assume that it's like iterating over the data around about 3 times per file. That is entirely unnecessary. The current version is this. It's just straight up, you read in the bytes of the file, and then it's just, you use them. I don't remember why I thought I needed all of those transformations, but yeah, this helped quite a bit. And then I tested it with, like, obviously I started with that multi-threaded version, and then I tested it without the multi-threading just to see, and the overhead of multi-threading actually made it slower. So like loading in all of the assets takes like 400 milliseconds on my PC now. Previously it took like several seconds. Even with the multi-threading, it was like relatively long. Now it's less than half a second. And it's fast enough that multi-threading actually makes it slower. But anyway, that was an interesting thing. Because I was like, yeah, my build script is pretty slow, so multi-threading probably isn't a bad idea. Obviously, there are trade-offs there, but you know, as long as I'm here, I might as well look into like what's actually making it slow and try and optimize that. And then yeah, now it's just like super fast. So the bottleneck, I mean, I can run the build process. It's still going to take a couple of seconds. And the main reason for that, so I'm building both versions at the same time. But the main reason for the bottleneck now is like when it's actually piecing together everything for like to make the .win file. Let me close out of these. So like here are the logs and everything. So you're importing all the sprites and everything. Then you create these new objects. You import the code for those objects. You link everything up to the objects, right? All code imported. At this point, 400 milliseconds have passed, which is the end of this script. This is like actually Undertale Mod Tool like writing the win file. And that takes like 6 seconds for me, which as far as I have found, I cannot speed up this process. So I think I'm pretty bottlenecked on the build now, which is cool. Anyway, I think I missed a few chats. Stone, do you like action RPGs with a great story which comes at the cost of a bit more structured storyline, set in a depressing future and played by characters whose lives are lived on the edge? Excuse me, knowing that a good ending is not an option for their lifestyles. It sounds interesting. React to this on stream. He's gonna open it on a second monitor so hard. I mean, yeah. Kaizo Trap? I'm scared. I'm not gonna react to this on stream. Unless somebody's seen the video before and they can they can vouch for Literate that it's not like something I shouldn't be watching on stream. Understandable, I would not trust Literate. I'm one of the least unhinged in here. Michael Jackson. Yeah, sure, Literate. We all believe you. So I think compatibility with other mods should not be an issue. At least we have some reassurance that the people playing are legit. I mean, even like cosmetic, right? Like the way that I'm assigning colors to the player is like, this is in the step event. Literally every single frame, if there is a player, I'm assigning the player's colors. So like, even if you tried to make a cosmetic mod work where you can just change the colors of the player, it's not going to be compatible, right? Like, I'm making a hard assumption here that there is no other mechanism that is attempting to change these colors. And there's like 24 other of these assumptions that I'm making throughout the entire code base, where it's like, I assume that the code works in a very particular way, and if some other mod messes with that, then mine breaks, or the other one breaks because of mine, right? So like, yeah, I'm just not gonna worry about it. Great work, D, overcomplicating your code. Yeah. No, but credit to Name. Their name in Discord is just Name, so I'm gonna call them Name. But credit to them for pointing out the build script stuff. It's an animation. I mean, I can see that it's an animation. I just don't know. Is this? I'm gonna keep it open in a separate tab, and if somebody else can can vouch for the fact that it's like stream safe, then I might take a look. Did I already check these? I think I did, right? Am I stalling? No. Surely I would not do that. That's just all that stuff. Okay. Finish. Color picker. Booyah. Yes. Twitch is doing the thing again where it's shifting my chat up and down. Not a fan. Okay. Let me GML save file. Or you know what? Maybe like settings file. We are going to start working on this guy. Ini files. All right. Ready to read about ini files? Ini files are small, lightweight files which I'm at 500% zoom here. Is it now when we pivot to Valorant? Oof. Okay, one thing I will say is that I'm definitely not a shooter game kind of person. Nothing against them, I just do not enjoy them. Ini files are small, lightweight files. Yeah, I know what they are. ideal for storing small pieces of information. Emphasis on small. I mean, what do they consider small? Options.ini. What? Open from string? What does that mean? Creates a temporary file from a string and opens it. Is temporary and will be removed from memory the moment it's closed. Then what's the point? I mean, it specifically said that any files are meant to store small amounts of data. So why not just store it in RAM? Why are we putting it into a file? Huh? What's somebody explain? What's the use case for this? Why would you create a temporary ini file just to immediately delete it when you close the file, rather than just keeping data in RAM? What? Why are we writing to the disk? Am confused. The above code sets a temporary ini to hold the information from the string stir, then reads from the ini before closing it again. Why not just use the variable? Why are we writing it to a file and then immediately reading it? What's the point of this? I'm so confused. Does anybody know? I'm about to make a poll to see if anybody has any idea why you would ever want to do that. I'm genuinely curious. There has to be a use case, right? I'm so confused. Opens a new ini file for reading, writing, closing the currently open ini file if there is any. You can only have one ini file open at any time? Okay, cringe. If no ini file with the given name exists at the location you're checking, GameMaker may create it, but only if you write data to it. Okay, I suppose that makes sense. If you have only read information from the ini file, then the default values for the read function will be returned. Okay, but the ini file will not actually be created. Interesting. Suppose that makes sense. Okay, so if I just say network create, I'm going to close these other two tabs. If I just say, what was it? Ini open test. And then how do I write to this? Read real. Write real. Let's write a string, shall we? How do we write a string? What are these images? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot how ini files worked. That makes sense. You can use this sections, and each section is subsequently split into key value pairs. I feel like I remember there being a version of ini files where you could like nest values or sections, I guess. I don't know. So was it ini write string? Is that the function? Okay. Oh, yeah, this is weird. See, like, you don't have to specify, you don't have to pass a file into this function because it's just, you can only have one open at any time. So it's just going to use the one that's open globally. That's weird. Hello and world. And we're going to write the string Testamundo the third. Do I have to specify the extension? Open. I do. Okay. Test.ini. Let's see what happens. Okay, it didn't get mad at me. I don't think it's gonna write it here, is it? Options any. It's probably gonna put it in app data, right? Stop doing that. Is it local app data that is gonna write it? W Snail. I do not see. Oh, there it is, all the way at the bottom. Okay, I just have 5 bajillion save files. That's fine. Okay, what does this say? Hello world equals Testamundo the third. Phenomenal. Okay. Now we have to decide what we want to read and write. So we can only have one ini file open. Your choice of words is amazing. Thank you. It's kind of my job to come up with nonsense words for testing purposes. So I'm like the best at it. We need, I mean, we can only have one ini file open. I mean, I assume, it gets kind of tricky with like the customization menu. Because when you're adjusting those sliders, I probably don't want to write to the file every single time that that value is updated, because that could potentially be basically every single frame for like half a second. So there might need to be some kind of a cooldown. I don't know. How fast does it write to files? I kind of want a cooldown. Okay, so what values am I even writing with this thing? I'm writing, I don't need like the X, Y, the room, none of that stuff. The name color, outline color, shell color, eye color, connection string. Is that it? No. Leaderboard. I've got 3 values for that. What is it? Leaderboard scale, leaderboard alpha leaderboard background alpha. Then I have other racers scale, other racers alpha, other racers name scale, not the scale of the racers themselves. And other racers name alpha. I think that's it, right? The racists, exactly. We need to save those. Please, dear God, do not take that out of context. I think that's it though, right? So it's the name, all the color values, the connection string, so like that the thing that you type in to actually connect. All the settings associated with the leaderboard, all the settings associated with other racers. What am I missing? I think that's it, right? I was typing add quote as you said that. You won the quick time event. Yes. Got him. Okay, give me just a second actually, because I turned off my AC earlier and it's getting kind of warm now. So enjoy the chair stream for a couple seconds. Okay. Yeah, it was 78 in here. Or I guess is 78. Just a little bit warm. Just a little bit. Chair. Okay. So these are also the values we would want to read in then. I'm gonna grab these. I'm gonna throw them in this file somewhere here. Because as soon as I navigate away from this, it's gonna do weird stuff. 78 Celsius is insane. Yeah. What can I say? I'm just built different. Right. So we need to read these values in. Does it make sense to read them all in all at the same time? Because I've got two different objects basically here, right? I've got the network manager. Well, maybe these color values. So the network manager is at least responsible for the connection string. Are all the other things dealt with by the... I knew it. I think all the rest of these are dealt with by the customization thing. What did I call it? Racing customization. That's what it's called. So let's say any open, let's just pretend that it's called racing settings, I guess. Settings, maybe. Racing config settings. Does it matter? Am I overcomplicating the name? Yes. Okay. All right. What is it? Any read string? Yeah, that was it. Okay. So the section is probably going to be called like networking, maybe just network, and we want to read the value labeled connection string, and then we can close the any close. I think that's it, right? We don't have to like specify anything here. So open. Yeah, we just open that file. We write a string. No, we want to read a string. Read string is just the section, the key. Oh, and then a default. Okay. Good call. Good call. Default is just going to be this kind of dealio. 25565. By the way, this 25565 number is just what was used by the multiplayer mod that I was looking at. There were like 3 of them apparently, 3 different Willy Snail multiplayer mods. One of them had that number as the default port, so I just used that, which apparently is like the common port for Minecraft mods, which is fine, I suppose. I should actually assign this to a value probably, huh? I should probably say connection string is equal to that. And then I probably don't need to put it here. Right. And then I actually need to like, so the way that the whole connection process works right now is that as soon as you submit or like enter a new connection string, it immediately tries to parse it. And all of that logic exists in a different location. It's in one of these. I don't remember which one. This one. No. Is it in this step? Don't think so. You know what? It's probably easier if I just do this. What am I looking for? I don't know, DNS something. DNS handler, network manager 14. There's also 15. Yeah, okay. It's 14. Don't take that one out of context. Unfortunately, I have to sleep now. All right, have a good night. I appreciate you being here. As always, I'm about to die. Please don't do that. Please stay safe. Bye-bye. Poor Stone living in terror. Always. You gotta have fun somehow. But, okay, so the whole point is, I set the connection string here. This is where the input happens. And then everything that happens after this also needs to happen when I read in the connection string. So, potentially, we could just yoink and say function say var process connection string, something like that, equals function, and then we just pop all that into here. Right, so we've got this function now. That all makes sense. So now over here, we can just say process connection string. And because connection string is just an instance variable, we don't have to like pass it in as a parameter or anything. So we just do that. Then over here, we can also do the same thing, right? Process connection string. And if this does just default, then, you know, this is IPv4 plus port, so it should just like basically skip any DNS lookup stuff. Why did this scroll to the side? Okay, let's test this. So there is not a racing settings.ini file. In fact, let's delete this test.ini. So it should have just used the default. I don't really know that there's a way for me to test that. Because this is the exact same behavior as what it was before. So I'm just going to assume that it worked. I'm going to make that assumption. And we might, I mean, given that this is only like a couple lines long, where are we actually calling this function from? Or this event, I guess. Whoops, not that one. Give me event. No, give me user 4. Here it is. Okay, yeah, so when we click on the button, we want to do this stuff. So this is step 0. Okay, go away. So in step 0, that's not what I wanted. Stop. In step 0, we can just grab all of this, and then here we can just pop that in there. Yeah. This needs brackets. And then we can put this here. Okay, so now we grab the input. If they don't enter anything, then we can just exit. And then otherwise we do this. Okay. I feel like that makes sense. Now, what exactly is this other 15? Oh, this is where we actually like parse the no? Is this where we parse the DNS response? Yeah. Oh, I thought this code was way more complicated. Okay. Sure. Oh, that's because I'm doing a call here. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, where are we actually like calling that? Oops, user 5. Here and other 68. which is the network thing. So other 68. So here's what we're going to do. Since we don't need other 14 anymore, because this function got moved to a different location, we're going to take the contents of other 15. We're going to throw it into other 14. You know what? I can probably just do this, right? Let me just yeet this one. Network manager, other 14, yeah. Let me yeet that one. Why did it scroll me all the way up? I can rename this to 14. And then wherever I'm calling this, I just instead use a 4. I'm pretty sure that works. I'm very hesitant. Let me copy over this create. Because I'm just gonna rebuild this whole thing. Network manager create, here we go. And what changes? Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this, I don't need that prefix. All of that stuff. I don't need these prefixes. Can I just search for it? Gmail script underscore. Replace it with nothing. Yes. Okay. All that stuff looks good. That looks good. This one, just replace 4 or 5 with 4. Makes sense. I think I didn't change that one. Step 0 I changed. Network manager step 0. Network manager step 0. Make sure it makes sense. Looks like it. Okay. And then 15 just got yoked, right? We just transferred that over to 14. Yeah, okay. Okay. So now that all of those changes have been made, I'm just going to rebuild the whole thing. And we'll start from there. So let me yeet this. Go to the output here. Give me this. Oh yeah, that was the other thing about the new build. So this .win file used to be like, I don't know, like 400,000 kilobytes, and now it's 15,000 kilobytes. Don't know where all of those kilobytes went, but yeah, another benefit of refactoring that build script. Okay. Let me open up the create again here. Looks like everything's fine. Okay. Yeah, we no longer have an other 15. Squid stole it for his simulation power. I'm fine with that. I am A-okay if Squid wants to use that. Is that a bug? I cannot tell. Okay. I'm going to leave it alone. It's not moving, so. Right. Okay. So we're processing the connection string. Now we need to go into customization, create function. We need to, do I want to put this below this function here? I had to in this create because I needed to call the function as soon as I read in the values. That is not the case here. I'll put it underneath anyway. I was also thinking about, along with refactoring the way that I'm drawing snails, I was also considering refactoring the UI stuff. Very seriously considering that. But I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. Like, there's so many hard-coded values, and it really shouldn't be that way. But, like, I don't think that what I'm building here is big enough to warrant, like, actual UI stuff, you know? Like, I feel like just drawing rectangles to the screen is good enough. Anyway, we are going to open an ini file. And here we actually have to read a ton of stuff. Ini read string. So first things first, we want to read in the player's name. Excuse me. Yeah, whoops. Yeah, so we got the connection string done. We can do name. Was there a function here? There's read real and read string. Is this decimal numbers exclusively? Must be a real number. Why is there an extra space here? Is that what a real number is? I feel like a real number is a decimal, no? Real numbers are any value that is not a string, nor any of the other possible data types. So 124 or a decimal number, okay. All real numbers are stored as 64-bit double precision floating point values or integer values. And the compiler will optimize where possible. For example, 0.0 will be optimized to the integer of 0. Okay, so I think it's going to be okay if I treat numerical values as reals. Anyway, we're going to read in a string. String we're going to read in is going to be under the section of customization. And it is going to be the value labeled name. Let's make this underscore name, actually. Or undercase. Lowercase? Whatever. Default value is just going to be the word player. And we can say this racer dot name is equal to that. Okay. And we need all of these colors, right? So these are all going to be integers. We went over that last stream. The way that colors are stored internally. So I'm going to say, I don't know if there's a function that automatically converts an integer to a color. So we might have to do some normalization. We might have to do some manual conversions. I want to get the name color, and by default, it's going to be white. So this racer dot default default outline color? Where am I using this? I'm using it in exactly one location, which is nowhere. That's right, because previously I was using it for the colors before the color picker, but now that I'm using the color picker, these are no longer a thing. I mean, I'll still use them as defaults for like reading from the file, but I forgot that those were there. Okay. Name color is going to equal this. And I think that should just work. Like, I don't think we have to do any weird converting stuff. So actually, let me copy that line and we'll just paste it a couple of times because we also need the outline color. We need the shell color. What else do we need here? Can I? No, I cannot middle click and drag. Name outline body shell eye. Name outline body shell eye. The order of this doesn't matter. I just want to stay somewhat consistent. Outline body shell eye. Okay. These are not going to be white. The outline is this one. The body is this. Shell is this. And eye is this. Okay, now we can get rid of those values because I don't think they're used anymore. Okay. That should be all of these done. So now we need leaderboard stuff and other racers. Scale alpha, background alpha, scale alpha, racers alpha. So that should all be reals. So if I go like this, yeah, oh, okay, so they're just all right here. All right, well, that was convenient. We'll do the leaderboard first, actually. So let's grab these and put them first. Excuse me. Leaderboard background alpha goes by the same name. Like an alpha of 1 is correct. No, it starts out at 0.5. I'm dumb. It's up here. All of these are defaulted to 0.5. Okay. So let me just copy that. What just happened? That okay. Oops. Okay. Leaderboard text alpha. Leaderboard scale. Other racers alpha. Other racers name alpha. And then other racers name scale. Is that 6? 3 leaderboard, 3 other racers. Looks like it. All right, cool. So that should be all of the values read in. Now we need to figure out where to, or when rather, to save them. Let me just copy this over. Customization create. And then I don't actually need these defaults. I don't actually need these. Yeah, because they're literally all read in here. I don't actually have a setting to change this, but that was at one point the plan, to be able to toggle this auto difficulty off. Did not happen though. Okay, in the create. Wait, why did I have this tab open twice? What am I doing? Am I crazy? Racing settings. Did I already do that one? Looks like it. Okay. So I think, yeah, I'm adding the function here. I won't really be able to test this until I've got both the reading and writing. Yeah, let me change that back. OBJ network manager. Yeah, I got rid of all that stuff. Makes sense. And then I just read it in. I need to close the file. Any close. Okay. Okay. I'm going to stage all those changes. Now let's figure out when we should write. I still want to make a mod that allows changing of every default setting. It may be a bit difficult, but I really want to do it. Interesting. Like what kind of settings? Or do you just mean like, yeah, I'm kind of confused. Like, are you talking about hidden settings that you wouldn't normally be able to change? Okay, so there are some obvious instances where I would want to save the ini file. Or I guess rather write values to the ini file. You know what? I actually made some changes to this that I didn't make to this. So just to make sure that everything's on the same page, I'm just going to build this. I'm going to build it again. Okay, we'll eat this guy. Give me this. Data. The settings that are reset with each save file. Most obvious examples being auto difficulty, difficulty, and worn hat. Gotcha. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Let's do the customization thing first. Except not that one, this one. Yeah, that'd be cool. Just starting the save file already on like a particular difficulty. Okay, the tricky part is probably going to be saving all the individual colors. But like the rest of these are not too bad. Yeah, so like here we can say any open. I don't remember what I called it. Oof. Racing settings. That was it, right? I don't have like any kind of weirdness going on with just the open. Yeah, it's just the name. Okay. So I want to write we're writing a string because it's the name. We're writing to. This is actually done in the customization, which is already open. Let me also open the network create. Okay, so the name was customization name. That makes sense. Customization name, and then the value I'm actually writing is this racer dot name. And then I can close. Any close. Okay, and then we just do basically the same thing. So that's just changing the selected category. Here is where it gets a little bit tricky, because here's where we're actually like changing these values by a slider. Changing the slider values, which means I don't know. What do you think? When should we write these values to a file? Should we do it every single time we detect an update? Which could potentially be every single frame. Or should we have some kind of a counter, like we wait 1 second after a slider was used, and then we save the values? So I don't think it would be too big of a deal if we wrote to the file potentially every single frame, but I'm also not like a huge fan. So I was thinking maybe of having like an instance variable that's like, I don't know, like frames since slider touched, right? And then just like as soon as this hits, we'll count it up every frame, and then as soon as it hits some number, like, I don't know, 180, so like 3 seconds approximately, then it would save everything. That might not be a bad idea. Could probably shorten it to like 1 second though. The saving only matters upon the next time the game opens, right? Yeah. So like we could like initialize this to 0. So like this would be in the create event, right? Not in this event, but in the create event. We would just assign it to 0. Or maybe we could assign it to 60 to start, and we would count. No. Sorry. I'd say whenever the menu closes, you save. Ooh. I'm not opposed to that. especially given the fact that this menu covers up the left half of the screen, so it's kind of hard to actually exit the game while the menu is open. Right, because like the obvious edge case to that is, what if the menu's still open and the person closes the game? Then it doesn't get saved. But it's probably not going to happen a whole lot that the person both has that menu open and closes the game. They have the menu open, they make a change using one of the sliders, and then they close the game with the menu still open. Alternatively, we could do something like this. So I've imagined this is in the create event where I initialize this to 0. And then whenever I detect that one of the sliders changes, I set this value. I set this value to 60. And then just every frame, if this value is not equal to 0, I count down. And then on the frame that it goes from 1 to 0, then I save. I think I'm the only one that does that, and it's usually during testing, not during a session where I plan to play. Yeah, but also, like, if somebody does encounter that, maybe it's just on accident, they could see it as a bug. Right? Like, hey, I made the change in the menu, but when I closed the game and reopened it, it didn't bring it back up, right? Like, that could definitely be seen as a bug. Now, the obvious issue with the suggestion that I have is that, well, what if you make a change and then within 1 second of you making that change, you close the game? That's also kind of not perfect. Like, again, unless you're willing to write to a file every single frame, I think there's always going to be an edge case. I'm still not opposed to the closing menu idea. It would be a lot cleaner than having this same line pasted in every single location here, you know. Yeah, I'll go with that. I think that's a good idea. No, stop. Don't. Oh, my word. I like it. Yeah. What did I change? I added this bit. Okay. So I did change this. And then here. So if it's visible, that means that you're about to toggle it off. So let's first say any open. This is racing settings.ini. And then we're gonna write a bunch of stuff, right? Write a bunch of stuff. What are we going to write? So we don't need to worry about the name because that has a specific trigger. That's not a slider value. We would need to write all of the colors. Connection string we're going to deal with later, but I should note that I don't have that yet. So all the colors and then all of these values need to be written. Maybe we can actually grab this code and just edit it in a fancy way. So just go like this. There's probably an easier way to do this, but I do not know how. Okay. Whoops. And now instead of reading, we want to write. That's not how you spell write. There we go. Whoa, that is not what I wanted to do. What just happened? Bro, what? Why did it close the thing I was working in? Okay. And this is all of them, right? Name color, outline color, body, show, eye. Leaderboard, 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 other racers, other racers, other racers. Okay. Oh, I did not do this. Right. I'm gonna need to go for it tonight. See you later. It was fun. All right. Have a good one. I appreciate you being here. It was fun. And then I need to close the file. Any close. Okay. So currently, it should actually save like up here, right? Because it starts with R. R comes before S alphabetically, right? Let's see. Okay, so I'm not going to change any values. I'm just going to open this menu and then close it. And now I close the game. Let's see what happened. I do not see it. Did I write the value wrong? Write real. What did I miss? Section key value. Section key value. Yeah, section key value. These are all numbers. Let's just show message here, just to verify that it's actually doing something. Oops. It is not. Okay, because we have this temp thing here. Get rid of that. Now if we save, okay, now it's going to save the temp file. They did some weird stuff with the most recent version of UMT. Oops, this one. Okay, now if I open and close, it still doesn't print. Huh? Did it put a file here? No. Maybe that? No, it's still not doing it. What the heck? Oh, because I put it in Network Manager. Ugh. Dang it. It's supposed to be in the custom toggle. This one. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now the file should be here. There it is. All right. So we've got all this customization stuff. So yep, these values look good. Eye color. See, I don't know why it saved the. I don't know why it saved it like this. It should have written a real. But it, like, wrote it as if it was a string. Like, is that supposed to happen? Read. I mean, it doesn't have it in these examples. Doesn't have quotation marks. Okay. But, okay, so we're writing everything except for the connection string right now, which the connection string should be relatively easy to do. I don't think I made any changes here, right? Those should already be in this guy. So I'm going to close out of this. This create should already be in the right location, or should the changes should already be transferred over. This one I changed. This one I changed. So this is the name. This is basically everything else. The only thing is the connection string. Okay. Connection string changes where? In the step? Not in the step. Maybe in the step of the network. That might help. Yes, here we go. So before we actually process the connection string, let's save it to the file. So let's open up racing settings.ini. It's ini write string. It's going to be network under connection string. The value is going to be connection string. And then we can close the file. All right. Let's see what happens. So let me try editing my name. And then I will also change the shell to be an orange color. Let's also change all of these sliders. We'll just make them all maxed out, just to see what happens. Okay, so I close the menu. It should have saved those values. Now I go into here. I edit the connection. Wow, that was like frame one. Frame one, I got the yo. Test several numbers dot incoming colon 25565. Okay. What? Process connection string not set before reading it? Excuse me, sorry. What? Process connection string. How? But we're in the manager. Oh, because it's a var. Whoops. Okay. Okay. Well, at least now we can test the customization loading stuff. Nice. Yeah, so it saved the shell color, it saved all of my settings here, and my name. Nice. And then if I go into here, well, it did save the string. And yeah, now it successfully processes it and says that it doesn't work. So now if I change this back 001255565, now I can connect. Okay. I mean, that should be it, right? I think that's just everything. So this is racing customization other 10. Racing customization. Wait, what? Racing customization. Here we go. Other 10. Bam. Give me racing customization key press. Network manager step. Network manager step 0. And network manager create. Do I even need these? I probably don't even need these, right? Because the defaults are red from the file now. So I can just get rid of that straight up. Okay. Network manager create. Okay. Let's now take a look, because I apparently made a ton of changes. Yeah, don't need that bit. And we got rid of all that stuff because that's read in from the file. We removed the var there. These don't need these prefixes. Okay, that looks good. This one, we're just straight up writing the connection string. Here, can I like undo that? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so here we're writing all of this customization stuff. Looks good. Don't care about these prefixes. And then we're just writing the player name. Okay. Add saving settings. Booyah. All right. Let me get rid of this stuff now. What? Okay, that was weird. And we can get rid of that because we just did that. Custom color sliders, we also just completed that one. Nice. I added the replay thing here too because I feel like that'd be cool. It might be a while before I actually like get to that point, but I think it could be cool. Okay, so maybe next time we can do some dejittering, or either that or selecting multiple racers in the spectator view. I suspect selecting multiple players in the spectator view is probably going to be more impactful. So that's probably going to be priority number 1. Let's put that up here. Dejitter is probably priority number 2. Hat selector. Hat selector definitely needs to come after dejitter. I want to do the dejitter first for a particular reason that will be revealed eventually. Showing the gun is probably pretty easy to implement, but I'm gonna keep it low on my list. Elevate story buttons in the spectator view, that can be done relatively easily. It's just kind of tedious, but not necessarily hard. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna rip my hair out about the order of this, but I think either selecting multiple players in the spectator view or trying to dejitter stuff is going to be what we're going to work on next. But I think that's what I'm going to call it. Good work. Good work. We got both the color sliders working and saving settings. So, pretty cool. All right. That is going to be it for the stream. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. Hope to see you next time. But for now, peace.